Brian.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Me and Dylan were just joking about how they don't really give us the way to solve
The graphs.
the graph ones. Yeah. So I think we'll have some fun with that. But is everybody ready?
And that's where I had the biggest struggle, and where there were a few that I didn't even put like an answer on them yet. So maybe walking through and getting a little bit more logical on them might work.
Yeah. All right. So for one, I got D.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
2, I got D.
I got D2.
Same.
3, I got C.
Yep.
Yes.
4, I also put C.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it will raise up to the world price, right?
Yep. If the world price is higher, it'll go up to it.
To that. And if not, it'll lower it, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
So 5, I said B.
That's the one I got.
6, I put C.
Yep.
That's what I put.
I didn't put anything on
7, 7, I have A.
Yep.
8, I put C.
I put D. But
And I had A.
And Brian had.
Sorry, I'm getting there. My computer's a little slow. Or number 8, right?
Yeah.
We go with A. I didn't get that one. Okay.
Not a consequence.
well, the price would go up if it's an export because the price would raise to the world price. Right?
True.
So that would be a consequence.
Let's see.
I put D because since it's an exporting, the producers are winning because they get to make more and sell it at a higher price because the world price is higher than the domestic price than the equilibrium. Since they're exporting, so they're winning per se.
They're actually earning something.
Yeah, and then the consumers are losing because they have to pay more for the price. But overall, according to the reading, the gains of the producers exceed the losses of the consumers.
Well, that makes sense because everything else either is referring to losses or prices paid, or that they're having to pay a price for it.
Right.
Would be the only one where they're actually making a profit on it.
So actually, so it would be C because D is a consequence. So C
I was gonna
is.
say, it's asking for what doesn't happen.
Yeah, so it would be C, actually. You're right.
Okay.
All right. Are we in agreement on that, or
Yeah.
we'll just
Yeah.
see when we submit? All right, 9. Here comes the guessing.
What if
Woo!
we skip 9 through 12, do 13 through 20, and come back? 'Cause I feel like-
Might be a good idea.
All right, sounds good. So let's go down to 13. Is that what we're saying? All right, so 13.
I had A.
I did A.
A.
Okay.
14. I put B.
Mm-hmm.
15. I got C.
That's one of the girls. I had A, but it doesn't mean I did.
We can come back to that one too if we want. But
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I think so.
all right. 16's another one. But
Wasn't like revenue
16, I
mostly
put A.
in like that left side of the triangle?
I got A for 16 as well.
yeah. That one, if you look at the book, it shows you like what the government makes. There's a little green triangle. And it's
In like the bottom left area?
not in the bottom left. It's pretty much dead center. So of the bottom, it's kind of hard to describe, but so the bottom left is producer surplus, the upper left is consumer surplus, and then in like the bottom triangle, so below domestic supply and to the left of domestic demand, there's just a square in there that's the profits the government makes from the tariff.
So like on this one, it's where the world price is over to 200.
I'm going to share my screen real quick and then I'll just kind of point where I'm
Okay.
talking. So in the book, it points out this section right here as the profit the government would make from a tariff.
Okay.
Section right here. So I took from 200 to 400, and then since it increases by 1, so it's 200 times 1, so that's why I put A for 200.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. 17. I got D.
Mhm.
Yeah.
18. I got A.
Yep.
19. I put D.
Yes.
And 20. I got A.
What is in between A and D? But really, that one's just saying, like, because of the free trade that exists in between like all the states, that's why it works, right? That everybody can specialize in something and still benefit from it.
Yeah.
So where are we going back to? Is it 9?
9. Yeah.
So I think most of mine are going to be wrong because when I was doing it, I was taking the area of everything as a square instead of a triangle. So I was just looking at that.
Well, and that's what I was saying is they make it extra hard because it's not even a square that's perfectly cut in half, because if
Right.
that's the case, then it makes it okay. But it's like this triangle that's a portion of the square that's not half. So for 9, my best guess was A.
That's what I had put.
Brian, what did you come up with?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Sort of.
it's kind of quiet, but I can hear you.
Well, sorry. Couldn't 9 be B? Because if you look 800, sorry, 800. 8 times 300 is 2400. And then perfectly half would be 1200. And then I wonder if B is just a better answer.
Could be. What are you guys feeling?
Because isn't this referring to the triangle that's right between the equilibrium and the world price?
So this would be the producer, so it'd be the very smallest one, lower left. The little triangle from the price mark of 2 to 8, and then over to the quantity of 300. That small triangle is what we're trying to figure out. Which I wonder if, would that triangle be the same? So it would be 6, 3.
I would say 900 just because if you actually brought it across, I don't know.
Well, I mean, 200 isn't a huge difference, so it could easily be either one. But my guess was 900.
Is it cheating to go on Google and just enter the? I just looked up area of a triangle and it brings up the formula, but you can enter leg because they're all right triangles, I think. So you can enter 6 and 8, and it'll give you the value.
Well, I don't think it's cheating. That's just called figuring it out, I think.
Okay. This is saying 24 though, so I don't think that's. Oh, that's because that's 300, not 8.
I mean, so the formula for a triangle I thought was just base times height divided by 2 is the triangle.
Yeah, basically.
So is there
900
one for a right triangle?
Correct. It is 900. If you plug that into, if you plug in, that it gives you 900. A times B divided by 2, so that's 18 divided by 2 is 9.
We'll try 900, I guess.
You got to lose.
Alrighty. 10. I put C.
Yeah, same here.
Because
That
this
one's
is
a little
on
easier because
the other side of it.
the equilibrium point. I just did the area for the full consumer and producer and then cut it in half, and that was the closest one. Dylan agrees with that. How does everybody else feel about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. So 11. I got C.
So this one I didn't do well on. So the total surplus is going to be that whole large triangle.
The A, B, C, D, F, right?
Yeah, and then
and G.
And G?
Yeah.
Okay. Just because it's on the side of the supply curve?
Yeah, it's just because the world price brings it up and it makes it so they supply all the way up to there. So it includes G.
So does it include A at all?
It does.
Okay.
you said you went with C.
Yeah, I went with C on that. What are you coming up with?
I'm almost thinking D.
Yeah, I could see D because I'm coming up with, because assuming I'm making the assumption that they're equilaterals. I don't know, maybe I'm getting too technical. But, I don't know. I like D better as an answer.
Brian, you want to be the tiebreaker as always?
what
Just kidding. Right now I'm losing.
was your answer?
I'm saying C. They're voting D. Because I did it with essentially just doing the math on the big triangle, so A, B, C, D, F. So 110. And then I went times, because it's just past 30, so I just did 30.2 or something like that. Divided that by 2, which gave me 1660. And then I did the area for G with a height of 20 and a base of 22. So it gave me that area was 220. So I got 1881. And so that's why I went with 1870.
And you flipped it with like the whole area of G, right?
Yeah, so my area of G, I got base times height is 444, and then I divided by 2, so I got 222. Add that to the other one, and I got 1880.
It's pretty darn close. But it's definitely got to be one of those latter ones, a C or D.
I'm still thinking D because the area of an isosceles is 1/2 base times height. I've been wrong on the last 3 times when I'm the only one wrong. Saying it's this one I've been wrong. So.
Well, luckily these quizzes aren't the end of the world for one question.
I'll be the guinea pig on this one. If it's not D, then
No.
You're the guinea pig every time.
All right, 12. I think it's the last one, or I guess we have 15 that we also wanted to go over.
All right.
I think this one was the biggest guess that I had to make. So, but I thought it was one either B or D because, from what I understood, that it was going to decrease by a certain amount, and the producer surplus was going to increase. So I thought it was going to be one of those two. So on 12, I went with B. And that was probably just because I was like, it doesn't, yeah, 575. That sounds good. Because that one's like, I don't know how you compute that. It's like the oddball, weird shape one. So,
Right.
because they would want, I think when I looked it up, it's like it wants you to cut it to make a triangle, and then you can find out the area of the triangle and then find out the area of the square. So.
But that's 2 different triangles, isn't it?
For the section that it changes from going from world price to plus tariff, it's just what it gains in that producer surplus. So it's not even a triangle, it's a 4-sided shape. Dylan knows the name of it.
I don't know the name of it.
But I can.
Can you share your screen real quick and just show me the part that you're looking at?
So from what I understand, it's just. So we're trying to figure out what the difference in producer surplus, because it was here at world price, and it jumps up to with the tariff. So we're trying to figure out the area of this shape right here, and that should be what the producer surplus goes up. And then it's something like this triangle or whatever is what the.
Well, wouldn't we be
Or
able
it
to?
decreases by that much or something.
Because if it's just that 4-sided one, wouldn't you be able to calculate whatever that little small triangle is, divide it in half, and then cut it off at 20, and be able to find out the area of the rectangle?
So you're saying like be able to do this
Mm-hmm.
line right there, yeah.
I don't know if it would help.
Well, the rectangle would be 8, and then that's 20. So
Then you're like about 8.
So that's
by
only
8.
160. That's why. So. So yeah, the rectangle will be 160, and then it's plus that little triangle. So the 192 is right. It's just figuring out the consumer surplus.
Did it decrease by 576 or 792?
Yeah. Let's see. So this says after a tariff, consumer surplus would be this section and this triangle. So it'd be this section would be consumer, and then this section would be consumer.
Okay.
So we'd be figuring out how much this whole section, this one, this big wide one, which I think would be, so that's probably 65
By 28.
by 8. So not by 28, by 8.
Oh, okay.
So that would be 520 plus the triangle. So it is probably the 576. So
I can.
So go with B.
So that's why B is what I'm more confident in. All right. The last one was
15.
15. So it goes from a price of 40 to a price of 60. So the domestic demand would go from 1,800 to a domestic demand of 1,500. Right?
I've got mine starting at 90, so if you increase it by 20, brings the price up to 110. Come over to where it meets the. I don't know.
So that, up above it says the world price is $40 per unit. And then the
Oh, I
tariff,
don't. Okay, never mind.
the tariff would bring it from 40 up
60.
$20 to 60.
I missed that part.
But so the supply I had at 40, they would supply 600, and then when it comes up to 60, it would go to 900.
So either like A or B.
Yeah, because no matter what, it's going to decrease the import. It's just a matter of by how much, which I thought was 300. But there was something with the tariffs that it's different. It's weird. So what are you guys feeling?
B.
Yeah, I'm thinking A or B.
That's the only thing that I can think of. It's gonna decrease it by around that 300. And the only part that we're going to be worrying about now is like where the domestic production is going to be increased by 300 or 600.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The domestic supply from $40 to $60. I think it goes from 600 to 900. So the only one that makes sense to me, I think, would be A.
A.
Yeah.
Just try it, see if it works.
Alright.
Okay, so let's go do this.
15. Yeah, my question number 2 is already different than any of the ones we just did. So, and it's one of the do math ones, of course. Ooh, wow, they're getting tricky.
Ouch.
Does everybody have them in?
Still working on them.
Yeah, I'm still working on mine.
Kind of wish they didn't mix it up.
Yeah, it'd be too nice of them if they didn't.
Make it a whole lot faster.
All right, I think I'm ready.
All right.
So since I'm hosting, I'll go first.
There you go.
Okay, so we got 2 wrong. Not horrible.
It's not bad with all those graphs.
Okay, so the question about the decrease imports of the good by 300 and increase domestic production of the good by 300, that one is wrong.
C.
So maybe it's B.
Yeah, it could be B.
That on the paper.
And then you're all right. So hockey sticks was the other one. That's surprising. So
Sure.
for hockey sticks, it is not all of the above.
Would it be that they have a comparative advantage in producing baseball hats?
Is that for the Canada ones?
Yeah.
That one should be A. If Canada were to allow trade, it would export hockey sticks.
Yeah, because we don't know if they have an absolute or comparative advantage. We don't have that data.
Just because we don't have the data for it.
Right.
So maybe A. Todavía no, mi amor. Okay, so I submitted mine, and on the one that it had to deal with the 300 and then the 300 and 600. I put the 300 and 600, and it's neither of those two. So it's got to be one of the last two.
Let's see. Price imports.
Maybe the C.
Yeah. Decrease inputs of goods by 600.
And then on the Canada one, it would have been if Canada A, if they were allowed to trade, they would export hockey sticks.
All righty.
I really don't know what it would be on that other one, but are we good then?
I think so.
Cool.
All right. Not too bad considering we came into it like, what?
Yeah, especially.
So we're smarter than we look. It's good. All right, good work, guys. Next week, Brian, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can do it next week. So I get off the phone.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good, guys.